Chris, what is our fourth main topic today?
My Raycons.
This fourth topic comes from Diego. John and crew, Jason Momoa posted a video on social media today leaving, what I assume is, WBDC Studios. In the video, he praises Gunn, Safran, and Zaslav, hyping up some good news he just got. Now, of course, Aquaman is dropping later this year, but I'm curious what he could be so excited about. I can only assume this means that he's staying on in some capacity in the new DCU, but do you think it's as Aquaman or possibly Lobo? I feel that him staying on as Aquaman would potentially be problematic, so I am leaning to him taking on a new role in the future. Curious about your thoughts on this. Thanks and bring on the filthy.
All right. Thanks a lot for writing that in. And yeah, listen, I could not have been more thrilled and more excited when James Gunn and Peter Safran. Well, first of all, when David Zaslav said, why doesn't DC have its own studio? And he established its own studio and then went out and got James Gunn and Peter Safran. I think this was the best news that could have come if you're a DC fan. I think this is going to be incredible moving forward. And it sounds like Jason Momoa is as happy as anybody. Now, we had heard Jason Momoa say a while ago, hey, just had a call with James Gunn and blah, blah, and got some really exciting stuff. We'll talk about it later. Well, I guess James Gunn went from messaging and talking on the phone to going and having a meeting with James Gunn, Peter Safran, and apparently David Zaslav. And boy, did he come out of that meeting happy. Actually, let's bring this up, Jonathan, here. So we're gonna play this here. I'll talk over it a bit, hopefully to avoid any content stuff. But this is Jason Momoa coming out of this meeting.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
4 years ago, I had the Jeep out front.
There he is.
No, I don't want you. I had it 4 years ago. I was screaming, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Screaming when I left Warner Brothers. All right, everyone's in the meeting.
That's a happy dude. That's a happy dude. Look at that smile.
4 years again. It's a mystery, baby. We got, I got some really good news.
With WB and DC.
Great news with Warner Brothers. Amazing. Wish I could tell you, but here it is. Peter, I love you. James, I love you. David.
Talking about Peter Safran, James Gunn, and David.
Okay. Mwah. To the future. To the future. Baby!
All right.
Picture me rolling.
Look, it's very important to point out that this wasn't just a meeting at WB. He specifically put on his little video post DC, right? So, and he mentions by name James Gunn, Peter Safran. So,
and Peter did produce both Aquaman movies.
yes, he did. Well, and a number of other DC.
Yeah, but I mean
so,
specifically with Jason Momoa.
So he comes out of there thanking James Gunn, saying, I love you, James Gunn, love you, Peter, love you, David. So that's all great. It's DC. All right. You know, we were talking beforehand. I think it might have been Jonathan before the show started today. It's like, okay, but I mean, look, that was a happy looking man.
It was.
That, I don't know if he looked that happy the day his children were born. By the way, I have no idea if he has children, but
He does.
he does. Okay, there you go. I bet he didn't look that happy. So, because that was a happy guy. So it might have been Jonathan brought up beforehand. It's like, okay, let's say you just got told we're going to do Aquaman 3 and 4. I mean, he's done a couple of Aquaman movies. Does Jason Momoa come out of a WB meeting that happy about, oh, we're going to do a third? I mean, I'm sure he'd be happy, but does he get online screaming and yelling, going, I don't know, like whatever about getting a third movie? I don't know. Now, look, the rampant speculation, of course, is that it's Lobo, which he has said in the past he would like to play. I mean, bring up that website again, Jonathan, because that image, I love that image at the top. That's obviously an Aquaman image that somebody did a brilliant Photoshop on. Looks like something Ray would do. That dude was born to play Lobo. Now, again, we don't know that it's Lobo or something. So, Rob, to me, there's only two explanations. And of course, there could be 1,000 we're not thinking of. But to me, two are standing out. One is, if it's Aquaman, because I don't believe it's just Aquaman 3. If it is Aquaman, which I don't think it is, but if it is, they just sat down with him and said, all right, I want, like James and Peter talked to him. It's like, we want to build the entire future of DC around Aquaman. That Aquaman is now going to be the center of what we're building our DC universe out as. If that's what they told Jason, I think you could get that kind of reaction, right? However, we've already heard James Gunn say, hey guys, it's Superman and Batman. I mean, these are our central figures. So while I believe if he was told that Aquaman was going to be the center of the DC universe moving forward, I believe it would give him that kind of a reaction. I don't think it's just Aquaman 3 would give him that reaction. And so I'm left with Lobo. A character that is very hard to conceive, but if you want to juxtaposition Lobo against a Superman or something like that, you want to talk about somebody who can prove to be a legitimate kind of foil for Superman, like maybe a Black Adam could have been, and we know they're not moving forward with Black Adam. Lobo, or maybe another character, whatever. But again, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. Do you know how much your subscriptions cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, when the actual total is closer to $200. If you don't know exactly how much you're spending every month, you need Rocket Money. When I started using Rocket Money, I couldn't believe how many things I was still paying for. Ann and I haven't lived in Burbank for almost 2 years, and I didn't realize I was still paying for a gym membership in Burbank for 2 years. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions that they've forgotten about, like that streaming service you bought to watch just one show on, or that free trial that you never even used, or like me, a gym membership in Burbank. Simply find the subscriptions you don't want and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. So stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. Rob, let me go over to you here. You're a big fan of the Aquaman movie. Huge one.
I love the first Aquaman.
Obviously, very excited about the second one coming out. You saw the reaction. That's a happy man.
Happy man.
What do you think DC, James Gunn, Peter Safran told Jason Momoa to have him coming yelling out he loves James Gunn and Peter Safran and screaming and all? What could that be? What do you think he was reacting to?
Well, look, I think the last vestiges of Zack Snyder's Snyderverse is going to end with The Flash and Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom.
Right.
That's going to end. Peter Safran's work with Jason Momoa, one of the things people forget about is when talent is fun and easy to work with, studios want to continue a relationship with that talent. Jason Momoa, by all accounts, is fun to work with. Making those Aquaman movies was not easy. And Jason Momoa probably was one of the, when you have somebody who's front and center and those movies take a long time to shoot, I think that Peter Safran as a producer is like, Momoa's got to be part of this. And I think that the Lobo, I don't know if they're going to make Lobo, but dude, if I was a betting man, and if we're going to go over or under whether this news is about Lobo, I would say it's over 75%. Because people love Lobo. Jason Momoa was born and bred to play Lobo. I don't think that there's any, I mean, look, come on. That's
just him.
That's Jason
That's
Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
That's him with insane clown costume
I
makeup on.
can't imagine.
Jason Momoa crossbreeding with Rob Zombie a little bit there.
Yeah, I can't imagine an actor playing a comic book character that would be better than this casting. And they know that. And Lobo is the kind of character that James Gunn gravitates toward. I mean, plus Lobo has a really interesting place in the DC universe. He can do a lot of things. You know, he can go with a lot of different characters.
He can be on Earth stories. He can be in intergalactic stories.
Yes.
You can put him in a movie with Batman. You can put him in a movie with Superman. He's a very, very flexible tool.
Absolutely. And so by making, and first of all, you know, by making him that character, you don't necessarily have to spend $300 million making a Lobo movie. Now, a Lobo movie ain't going to be cheap. But again, they're looking to do things. I think it's a brilliant move. And I think that they probably told Momoa that this is a versatile character. And we see him being used in multiple other movies in addition to doing your own trilogy of Lobo films. It makes sense. And you know what? That's what made him so happy. He's going to play this iconic character that in his mind, probably he's going to have more fun than ever. And I think it's it's a good bet to think that that's exactly what we're going to get.
Chris, let me make this statement and tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
And I am not saying they are identical characters at all, but Lobo could be, when you've looked at the various iterations, Lobo could be DC's Deadpool. I mean, I think
for
in
sure.
a lot of different ways. So let me ask you that, by the way, we need to point out here, we have not heard from anybody, no sources, no studios telling anybody that he's going to play Lobo.
Yeah.
This is all fan speculation, but it does kind of line up. So Chris, you know, you see that happy man coming out of that building. What's he celebrating?
He's celebrating being Lobo.
You think
I think that, yeah, he's
definitively.
celebrating being Lobo. Which, I mean, Rob, I'm so excited for you because this could tie in Omega Men.
Well, yes.
Which would be rad.
And the man who'd get us.
That was
The
by
man
accident,
who
but there you go.
don't send me your scripts, please.
That was accident.
The Omega Men, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. I could see James Gunn directing, and maybe not because it's similar to what he's already done.
But bringing that in for
boy,
sure.
would I love to see
It'd
the
be
Omega
really,
Men.
really cool. You could have him be part of the Red Lantern Corps because that happens at one point. He crosses over in the comics too with non-DC characters like Judge Dredd. I mean, you can do so much really rad stuff with him. So I think this is, you know, a really, really fun possibility for him because I know some people in the chat too, hey, he should stick to Aquaman. This seems like a downgrade. One, being a villain or anti-hero is so fun. It is so great when you get to be a wild character like the main man here. All right. If you are the scourge of the cosmos, you get to play in a much more fun sandbox. And I think this is what he's ultimately wanted.
Well, you just said something really interesting that, like you brought up the Green Lantern Corps. That if they have plans for the cosmic universe that James Gunn didn't get to do at Marvel, DC has an incredible cosmic universe as well. I mean, you could bring in the Legion of Superheroes, you could bring in the Green Lantern Corps, the Omega Men. There's so many awesome characters that DC has that are cosmic in nature, and Lobo could be the linchpin of all of those characters.
Let me throw out a curveball.
Okay.
If we go back in time, after Jason Momoa was in Bullet to the Head with Sylvester Stallone, and before Ben Affleck was cast as Batman, I had said on my show that this Jason Momoa dude, I think he could be a really good Batman. And this is years ago, years and years. For those of you who followed me for a really long time, going really, really long time ago, I said this Jason Momoa guy he's the bad guy in the new Sylvester Stallone movie, right? He was also in Stargate Atlantis, is where he got his start in there. And I said at the time, and I said at the time, I think this guy could be a really good Batman. He's got the square jaw. He would be an incredible good-looking Bruce Wayne. He's got the physicality. Nobody's telling me this, but if Jason Momoa just got told he's going to be the new Batman, do you think that would elicit that kind of reaction coming out of Warner Brothers?
Yes.
Yes, it would. Again, nobody's saying anything. This is just me throwing that out there, that Lobo is probably more likely. I'm just saying, if I just got told I was going to be the new Batman, I might be having that reaction too. I don't know. Is that like way out there?
You know what? Now that you've said it, now that you put it out there, that's not way out there at all. Because he was going to play the Crow at one point.
That's right.
You know,
yeah.
Eric Draven,
they were like literally weeks away from shooting that before they pulled the plug on it.
I could see that. You know what? Here's the thing is, the casting of Batman and Superman is always going to be met with some kind of backlash.
Of course. There's
no matter who
nobody you cast to make everybody happy.
Marlon Brando was cast in 1956 to play Batman. People would bitch.
Yeah.
But Jason Momoa, that's kind of a slam dunk. No one's going to complain if he plays a new Batman.
He's got the voice. He's got the physique. He's got the square features.
And he's relatively young.
Yeah. Now, again, I look that up for me, Taylor. How old is Jason Momoa? Because he's younger than Ben Affleck, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that. But again, it's most likely Lobo, but it could be something.
He's 43 years old.
How old?
43.
Okay, so he's younger than Ben. He's he could play Batman for a good 10 years.
He could, but if you look at his current casting, what he's gravitating towards lately, though, it's been more fun, wacky, weird kind of stuff. He likes a level of flamboyancy that I don't think Bruce Wayne could afford him.
He was really
That's not
good
to
in
say he wouldn't do it.
Slumberland.
He's so good in Slumberland.
He was really good in Slumberland.
Oh, he's a great flip.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think that James Gunn and Peter Safran told Jason Momoa that made him come out of Warner Brothers, those offices, so freaking happy and excited? Maybe it is just, hey, we're going to do Aquaman 3. Maybe it's Aquaman's going to be the center of the DC universe moving forward. Maybe it's you're going to be Lobo. Maybe it's you're going to be Batman. Maybe it's you're going to be Superman. Maybe you're going to play Robin. I don't know. What do you think they told him that got him this excited? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.